Once upon a time, in a kitchen far away, there lived two best friends, Bread and Butter. They were inseparable and always had each other's backs. They would make the perfect pair for any meal and were always together, until one day, they had a fight. It started over something small, and before they knew it, they were not talking to each other. Bread thought that Butter was taking all the credit for their success, while Butter believed that Bread was not giving them enough space to shine. The more they argued, the angrier they became, and soon they decided that it would be best to separate. The next day, Bread went to the toaster alone, without Butter. It felt strange and empty, and the toast was so dry and tasteless without the rich, creamy spread. Butter, on the other hand, was left alone in the fridge, and every time someone opened the door, they would see the lonely stick and feel sorry for it. Days turned into weeks, and Bread and Butter had both realized that they needed each other more than anything else. Without each other, they were incomplete, and they could not fulfill their purpose. They were sad, and they both missed each other. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they decided to make up. Bread apologized for being selfish, and Butter said sorry for being too possessive. They hugged, and it felt like old times again. They knew that they were the perfect pair, and that they needed each other to complete their mission. From that day on, Bread and Butter were back to being best friends again. They realized that they were better together than apart, and that they needed each other to bring out the best in each other. They knew that they were both essential ingredients, and that without one, the other would be incomplete. They promised never to fight again and to be there for each other, always. And so, they lived happily ever after, spreading joy and happiness wherever they went, together. Their bond became stronger, and they never took each other for granted again. They knew that their friendship was worth more than any argument, and they were grateful for the lesson they had learned. Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Sarah who loved spending time at the beach. However, she was always saddened by the amount of litter and debris that she would find scattered across the sand and in the water. Determined to make a difference, Sarah decided to take action and organized regular beach cleanups with her friends and family. They would all meet up early in the morning with gloves, bags, and trash pickers, ready to make the beach a cleaner and safer place for everyone to enjoy. Despite the early hours and hard work, Sarah always had a smile on her face and was happy to be doing her part to protect the environment. As she picked up trash and plastic bottles, she felt a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction knowing that she was making a positive impact on the planet. Over time, Sarah's beach cleanups gained attention and attracted more and more volunteers. Soon, people from all over the community were joining in to help her cause, and her cleanup events became a regular fixture in the local calendar. Through her efforts, Sarah not only helped to keep the beach clean but also raised awareness about the importance of reducing waste and preserving the environment. She inspired others to take action and make a difference in their own way, and her dedication and hard work did not go unnoticed. One day, Sarah received a surprise visit from the mayor of the city, who came to personally thank her for her efforts and presented her with a special award for her outstanding contribution to the community. Sarah was humbled and grateful for the recognition, but she knew that her work was far from over. From that day on, Sarah continued to organize beach cleanups and inspire others to do the same. She knew that every little bit counts, and that together they could make a big difference in the world. And so, Sarah's passion for volunteering and protecting the environment lived on, inspiring generations to come. Once upon a time, on a crowded bus, a young girl named Sarah noticed a pregnant woman struggling to stand. Without hesitation, Sarah offered the woman her seat. At first, the pregnant woman hesitated, but Sarah insisted, saying, "Please take my seat. You need it more than I do." The woman gratefully accepted, and Sarah stood up, holding onto the pole for balance. Other passengers on the bus noticed Sarah's kind gesture and smiled at her. They saw how thoughtful and caring she was, and it reminded them of the importance of being kind to one another. As the bus continued on its route, Sarah struck up a conversation with the woman, asking her how she was feeling and if she needed any help. The woman was touched by Sarah's kindness and thanked her for her consideration. When the bus arrived at the pregnant woman's stop, she got off, thanking Sarah once again for her generosity. Sarah watched as the woman walked away, feeling a sense of fulfillment from having made someone else's day a little easier. As Sarah continued her journey on the bus, she noticed that other passengers were treating each other with more kindness and respect. People were offering their seats to elderly passengers and holding doors open for one another. Sarah had unknowingly started a chain reaction of kindness, inspiring others to do good deeds. When Sarah finally reached her own stop, she got off the bus, feeling proud of herself for doing something good for someone else. As she walked away, she realized that it doesn't take a lot to make a difference in someone's life. A simple act of kindness, like offering your seat to someone in need, can have a ripple effect that spreads positivity and compassion throughout the world. From that day forward, Sarah made a commitment to herself to always look for ways to help others, no matter how small the gesture may be. She knew that every little bit counts, and that by doing good deeds, she could make the world a better place. Once upon a time, a group of kids gathered together to play dodgeball. As they started to play, one of the kids realized that he wasn't as agile as the others, and he kept getting hit by the ball. He felt sad and frustrated that he couldn't keep up with the others. The other kids quickly noticed that their friend was feeling down and decided to talk amongst themselves. They all agreed that it wasn't fair for one person to keep getting hit and decided to intentionally miss him when they threw the ball. As they continued to play, the kid who had been getting hit began to notice that he was no longer being targeted. He felt surprised and relieved that he wasn't being hit anymore. The other kids continued to play with enthusiasm, and the atmosphere became more positive and inclusive. The kid who had been feeling down began to feel happy and included again. He realized that his friends had intentionally missed him, and this made him feel grateful for their kindness and thoughtfulness. As the game came to an end, the kid who had been feeling left out came up to his friends to thank them. He expressed how grateful he was for their actions and how they had made him feel included again. The other kids smiled and told him that they just wanted to make sure everyone had fun and enjoyed themselves. They all gave each other high fives and left the field feeling happy and satisfied. From that day on, The group of kids continued to play dodgeball together, but now they made sure to include everyone and to play in a way that was fair and fun for all. They realized that small acts of kindness and consideration could make a big difference in someone's day, and that everyone deserved to feel included and valued. Once upon a time, a man named Zach was walking down the street when he suddenly twisted his ankle and fell to the ground in pain. Despite the bustling city and people walking around him, nobody seemed to notice his fall. Feeling helpless and in agony, Zach started to lose hope until a group of kind strangers noticed his situation and rushed over to help him. A young woman immediately offered him a hand and helped him stand up, while another person ran to get some water. As Zach tried to put weight on his injured ankle, he realized that it was too painful to walk. Fortunately, a man who happened to be walking by had a car and offered to drive him to the nearest hospital. Once they arrived at the hospital, Zach was seen by a doctor who confirmed that he had a sprained ankle. The doctor applied ice to the affected area and gave him medication to help with the pain. As Zach was leaving the hospital, he saw the group of strangers who had helped him outside, waiting for him. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Zach thanked them from the bottom of his heart and expressed how their kindness had made a huge difference in his life. The group of strangers smiled and told Zach that it was no problem at all, and that they were happy to help someone in need. Zach was touched by their compassion and generosity, and he knew that he would never forget the experience. From that day on, Zach made a promise to himself that he would pay it forward and help others whenever he could. He also made a point to always be grateful for the kindness of others, just like the group of strangers who helped him when he needed it the most.